Hello world and welcome to the next video. The Senate Democrats caved on the idea for $2,000 checks. Now there were negotiations going on where some Democrats like Bernie Sanders and Ed Markey were withholding their vote to override President Trump's veto on the N.D.A.A. But when it came time to vote, Democrats overwhelmingly voted yay to override the veto, and so they gave up their negotiating chip for the $2,000 checks. Now this is one of the cases where Democrats and Republicans came together to support corporations rather than individual people and voters and the families, American families. Because in the middle of a global pandemic, they had billions of dollars for the military-industrial complex and for foreign countries, but scraps for American families. So it is disappointing. Some of the more independent-minded senators, though, were fighting for this idea. So let's watch a clip of Bernie Sanders arguing for the $2,000 checks, and he brought along a tweet from President Trump. Let's watch.
Deserve help, and they deserve a $2,000 check. And as Senator Schumer just indicated, we have a very unlikely ally in President Trump. Nobody here has disagreed with Trump more times than I have. And yet here is what the leader of the Republican Party says. He says $2,000 ASAP.
There was another negotiating tactic that Bernie Sanders used on the floor of the Senate, mentioning that Mitch McConnell, senator from Kentucky, has 10 of the 25 poorest counties in the USA in his state, and that he should consult with Kentucky voters to see if they need help, because Kentucky is not doing well. So even in the middle of a pandemic, Mitch McConnell continues to work for the corporate donors completely, disregarding the American public altogether. He came up with some arguments saying that people who don't need the checks would get the checks. But there's already a condition where your income needs to be below a certain level. So it's just him playing politics as usual. Let's watch the remarks from Senator Sanders.
And let me just make it clear for the majority leader that 10 out of the poorest 25 counties in the United States of America are located in Kentucky. So maybe my colleague, the majority leader, might want to get on the phone and start talking to working families in Kentucky and find out how they feel about the need for immediate help in terms of a $2,000 check per adult. And I have the strong feeling that the people of Kentucky will respond no differently than the people of Vermont or New York.
Mitch McConnell used the argument that this bill would be socialism for the rich, saying that people who don't need the money would receive the money. What's interesting, though, is that when it's time to give out billions of dollars in tax cuts or other benefits to the elite corporate class of America, Mitch McConnell says nothing. In fact, he is enthusiastically supportive. So it's always clear that his faith belongs to the corporate class and not the working class. Sanders makes note of this as well. Let's watch.
But I want to get back. The senator from South Dakota did not answer the question that there was not apparently huge concern about socialism for the rich in the bill that they supported, or worried about the debt that would incur. So I see, if I may say so, a bit of hypocrisy here.
So if there was a vote on the $2,000 checks, I do think it would actually pass. I think the Democrats would vote for it. I think some Republicans would vote for it. They voiced the interest in voting for it. Certainly some of the Republicans would not. Some of them who said they would not. They were just using it as political cover to cover their bases so that they don't get accused of not supporting it. But of course, Mitch McConnell blocked the vote. It is disappointing that the Senate Democrats did not negotiate harder, in which they could have, but they did decide to cave on the negotiating tactics, as they all too often do. And behavior like that is exactly what created President Trump. That's what creates a candidate like that, when both parties snub the working class time and time again, when they spit on the people who actually do the work. It always ends up this way. You create some really strange candidates. And that's a product. Trump is a product of our political system and the way that both parties are perfectly aligned on certain issues. in which they probably should have different opinions and not be so supportive of just funneling money upwards. And so we need more politicians who are willing to be tough, to take a stand and make a statement and actually fight for something tangible for voters. That's all that people want. And that candidate, those candidates, would be enormously popular if they could just get their message out there. Because one issue with that type of candidate is mainstream media will not give you airtime and they will attack you to no end. So we're really fighting a system that does not want people's candidates to do well. But I think that this can be overcome with time. If you enjoy my commentary, please like this video, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.